Then a seasoned expert kind of explained me the whole thing, and I want to give that lesson to you here. Welcome to How to Expat. My name is Simon, and How to Expat, we help expats relocate. This video I want to give you kind of a cultural lesson. A seasoned expat a couple of months ago told me, or probably more than a year ago, told me about life here in Colombia. And the motivation of that came from a comment that Jim left us on our video for tipping. And it goes as follows. I usually try to add an extra tip, but my wife, who is Colombian, always whisks it up from the table or keeps me from handing it to the waitress. I don't know how waiting staff survives there or here in Colombia. So I know it comes from a good heart that he wants to help the people. But I want to kind of give a different perspective here of how life is here in Colombia. So when I came to Colombia to live, I also felt that way. I saw the taxi drivers, the waiters, and thought like, of course I did my research, so I saw the minimum wage here is, I think at the moment, around $280 a month. And I was like, how can these people survive? Like, I'm from Switzerland, I used to wages more than $3,000, $4,000 easily. So I was kind of shocked, and I kind of also felt bad for these people that they have to work so many hours for not a lot of money. And then a seasoned expert kind of explained me the whole thing, and I want to give that lesson to you here. So let's say the middle class, where surely the taxi drivers, the waiters, all of these people, especially in the areas where foreigners mingle around, so people, Colombians you see when you come to Medellin or Colombia in general, most probably gonna be that way from the middle class or up. They have a pretty good life, even though they don't earn a lot of money. But just how the economics work here in Colombia is way, way different than what we are used to from our home countries. So that starts with how the taxes work here to kind of how the households work here. So in another video, I already explained that here in Colombia, usually have in the middle class home has a home where even the grandparents, the parents and kids live in. So it's just a way different concept. So if 3 out of these, let's say 6 or 7 or 8 people household are able to work, that's already good enough, especially because most houses people live here in the middle class are already paid for that, so they don't really have to pay rent and stuff. So that's where, a lot of these economic factors come in. Why, even though a taxi driver maybe makes $400, $500 a month, kind of has a very, very good life. Then on the other hand, we cannot forget that let's say, when we see somebody has just one TV in their home or doesn't own a car or something like that, we already think from the outside that this kind of a poor person. But here in Colombia, it's just a different way. So a lot of these people, when you talk to taxi drivers, what they would say, yeah, it's a hard job, but it's a good earning job, and I'm happy with that, and I have a good life and stuff. So it should be important that we as foreigners not come here and think, oh, that's so bad how they live, but actually they kind of live a good life. So the issue becomes with many different types of reasons. One of the reasons is if a person lives in an economically poor area, let's say, and they are not really connected to the income sources here in the city, let's say downtown or Poblado, where most of the income happens, then they have issues because they cannot go to a place where there is a good job, because maybe one way just takes them 3 hours. So the day is kind of over till when they're there. And of course, Medellin, for this example, does a very, very good job of integrating like these poor communities to the city center, where they can earn money with all the cable cars. But if the infrastructure is not there yet, they really have issues there. Then the other thing is also kind of the usual stuff we know that make life difficult: greed, adultery, all of these things. If you see a person working here in Colombia, and most of the time they will have very, very good life if the rest of their life kind of looks good, and if they make the right decisions. So don't really feel bad for the working Colombians here and that you have to tip them because they don't make any money, because that kind of approach of thinking can be taken the wrong way. A good example is we just talked with somebody that does volunteering here or connects volunteers to a project in economically challenged areas. that she was, when she started to do that, she was very surprised. Like they went with foreigners to areas to give them the projects and tell them how it's done, and then the people first come there in the economically poor areas, and they go into a house of let's say a grandma and say, oh, how can she live like that? Like that's barely a house. It almost like it rains in and stuff. How can they live like that? And she was like the lady organizing the thing was like, whoa, wait, like the lady here, the grandma, thinks she lives a good life. So that's usually a good house. She's happy with what she has and stuff. She's not the issue. This is just kind of the place where we organize, and then we go to the real challenge people. So yes, she said, and she has to explain to the foreigners kind of, yeah, like you have to adapt here. So this person lives a good life, even though their house maybe doesn't look like a mansion or anything. So yeah, it's just kind of these cultural differences. If you want to be a sensitive expat or foreigner here in Colombia, that you have to know, and just open your mind once you come here. And don't think automatically, if they're not making a lot of money, that they have a bad life and struggling from day to day. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what you need to know. If you want to help people here in Colombia, I really appreciate what you want to do. Maybe do it in another way. And in a couple of months, we will be able to show you things how you can get that done. So yeah, in the last couple of months, we worked on a big new projects where a big part will be to giving back here to the community in Colombia. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, like our Facebook page, whatnot, just to stay updated with all of these new projects coming in 2020. So yeah, just make sure, yeah, as I said, to keep updated. So if you want to help, we can support your cause and things like that. But yeah, we're gonna show you what it is in a couple of months. We're gonna roll out the whole new project. So that was pretty much it. Appreciate that you stayed till the end of this video and this kind of cultural lesson. See you soon in the next video.